Alright, I apologize for my voice. I'm a little bit tired. I was up around 6 a.m. from this dream and I wrote it down and tried to go back to sleep and just couldn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and record. Um, yeah, I finally saw Jesus' face, so that was a big deal to me. Been waiting for that for years. But I don't sit around begging God for things like that. He knows what I want. Um, So I was very thankful to see that, and the Lord let me know it's probably something I should share with y'all as an audience. So I used a couple images from online. So I used Kevin Sorbo, his face, and then the ponytail was quite similar to the one that you'll see, and then the skin was kind of glowing like this other photo that shows up, and then I tried to draw it myself. And his eyes were brown, and he was sitting in a car, and it was kind of dark, so that's why I put the darker background, and I couldn't even remember the color of the shirt because I was looking at his face, and he was looking at me. He didn't smile or anything, he just had kind of an intense look, and he was glowing, and yeah, we sort of had like an understanding kind of thing. Yeah, so I might do a drawing later, but for now, his face was a lot like that Marvel character who has like a cracked face. So the skin was like orangey brown. Maybe it was supposed to be looking like clay, I'm not sure. Um, it was like a cracked face, but I knew it was him. But at the same time, deep down I knew it was him. But when I spoke to him, I spoke telepathically to him just to double check. 'Cause I'm always doing that with the Lord in my mind and in different ways, which I can't share with y'all what I say and do. But in this dream, I spoke to him and I said, You knew a long, oh, and he had really long hair for some reason. I said, You knew for a long time you'd be crucified, didn't you? And again, I said that telepathically, and he looked at me and he nodded yes. Okay, I spoke to the Lord, and he said that his face was made of clay, and the clay just represents humanity. And he's just tired of people saying his face was black or, brown or whatever. He's just tired of people comparing what his skin color is like because it's not the point, he said. The point is that he came back as humanity. And he said it was shocking enough that he came back as a Jewish person in the past. We were in a sports car together, a low rider, uh, two seats in the front, and then like there was space in the back, but you had to open the seat to get to the back. So we were riding in the sports car together, and we stopped. He stopped the car. I was just like being quiet for a lot of this dream. I was just watching him do stuff. So he stopped the car, and there were people around, and there was like I think three people around, and I don't know what country we were in. The girl seemed kind of American. There was a girl standing in front of the car, and I could tell he was about to engage with her, and I myself inside, I was being very skeptical, and I was thinking, I don't know why he's trying to talk to her, like she doesn't look like she's interested in him at all. Or I was thinking, like, what are the chances she would actually want to talk to Jesus? She had, I don't know if she's a real person, so I'll describe her. Uh, she had longer, curly, frizzy hair that was brownish, not too dark brown. She was tall and skinny. She was pretty, and she played tennis. Um, and there was something about her dad. She had had problems playing tennis with her dad. So he stopped the car and he tried to do ministry to her. He did do. He got the lady to come and talk to him in the car about why she had stopped playing tennis. But before she was going to come, she had to go get somebody who was going to do it would be like a therapy session with Jesus in the car. Um, she had to go get somebody that was going to join her. I don't know if it was her dad. That part was unclear to me. And I said, this was the one thing I said to Jesus in the dream. I think I said, I'm going to have to get out of the car for them to get in. And he said, just move the seat back. So he made it clear I was welcome to be there for the session. I think I was kind of implying maybe I should go, but he didn't want me to go. So he did. I did pull the seat back, and they were coming to get in the car, and I could tell it was more like evening time, I think, in the dream. Um, but then the scene shifted and changed. So then it was like a place where people could play sports. Um, Jesus was able to shapeshift at that point in this dream. Hard to describe actually what I saw, but it was like he was between being real and being in the spiritual realm. He looked different. Um, but I still felt it was him. There were different people playing tennis, and the odd thing about this game, and I will see if I can find something that works for this, but like oh, some people had like a huge racket, but the ball was tiny, and some people had a huge ball, but their racket was super tiny. And I was looking at this, and people were trying to play the game, but it was not working at all. Like, I tried to use the super tiny racket, didn't work. And I mean tiny, like a few inches long, and then the solution came, and the solution was to fit the super tiny piece into a larger piece so that those pieces would work together, and then you could play the game. I haven't talked yet with the Lord about this, but I just felt it was sort of a reference to how believers in the body are meant to work together, to yeah, play the game of life or whatever the game represented. We're meant to work together, and the pieces fit together perfectly. Like the tiny racket was able to click into this other, I don't know if it was a bigger racket, something else, and it was just perfect. And then you could use it. It was like a paddle or something. He said also you can split this into two pieces. He said that the tennis game, that the pieces fitting together means it represents the body of Christ working together. So then they could play the game, and then Jesus had super long hair at this point for some reason. And at some point, there was this whole scene was a little bit confusing, so I kind of skip over what was happening. But there were two people who were in danger, who were about to go over the edge of some type of water. It was like a waterfall, but it was dangerous. And so he suddenly became two. So it was two Yeshuas, and he was over there. It was like him talking to himself. He's like, we need to take care of this. And suddenly he was two, and he went over and took care of the other person. Those two people that were about to fall over the edge. Um, Later, it was either before the tennis game or after the tennis game. I saw him in his office. It was an office, a very plain office. And I was watching him work. And again, I didn't talk to him, I was just watching him. And a person came in to try to take his photo. And as the camera flashed, it was like an old fashioned camera. The camera flashed, and as it flashed, everything inside the camera disappeared. The inner parts of the camera disappeared. And the dude looked really frustrated because he knew he wasn't going to get a photo of Jesus. And I think I found that part amusing a little bit and kind of amazing at the same time. I'm like, wow, the Lord chooses if his paparazzi gonna get to get a photo or not, because he's the Lord. All right, and then the phone was ringing, and it was not like the business phone. It's not like a ring where like anyone can pick up because it's for a business. It was a specific calling his office. It was for Yeshua. And it kept ringing and ringing and ringing. I think 3 times. He let it go on its little circuit. He wouldn't answer the phone. And I asked him about that later. I asked him as I was laying in bed because, as I said, I couldn't go back to sleep. I was like, what was the phone thing about? And he said, a lot of people are calling him and asking for peace in the Middle East. He said something like, that's not his will for Israel for the end times. Uh, so Anyway, that just goes back to Israel repenting and something to do with the 144,000 and those people over in Israel who will recognize Yeshua as their savior finally. So he doesn't mean that in a mean way. He just, anyways, I probably shouldn't talk too much about that. So then, oh yeah, and then I also, yeah, I got to see a part of the 1,000-year reign. I got to see a piece of land that I was picking out, and yeah, I was encouraged to get to have that dream about the 1,000-year reign because I don't have many people in real life that I can talk about this type of thing too. So that was another section of the dream. Um, I picked out a piece of land. There was someone walking with me around the area, showing me different things about the area. Someone that I know, someone that I used to know in real life. Yeah, he was actually one of my students. I think I can say that. So he was there. He was as my friend. He was my friend in the dream and giving me a small tour of the area. So that was pretty neat. All right. So, but that's sort of beside the point. I just wanted to share the part about Jesus. And if I receive further insight, I will go ahead and share that later.